Hey guys, today we're going to paint a 1.5 square bill and we're going to paint it in the bluegill pattern. Now I've done some patterns in the past and I might set those as an end screen so you can see them. They were a little more complicated. They might have wraps or something like that to them. But this is a real easy pattern. It's one I did almost 2 years ago when I started. And Bob and I really caught a lot of fish. Matter of fact, for a while that was Bob's go-to lure. That's what he kept using all the time. It's a nice, real easy bluegill pattern, so if you're just starting out, shouldn't have any problems doing this one. So let's take to the workbench and see what we can do. Stick with me. Okay, here we go. Got the 1.5 square bill. Nice, shallow running lure for early in the season coming up here. Got to put the base coat on first. Createx opaque white. It'll get us a nice, good even base coat so we can apply our colors. Alright, there we go. We got our white. Now let's clean up. We'll start working with some colors. Now I've done bluegill patterns where I put in the stripes and everything. And if I remember when I'm going to edit this, I'll try to put those in as an end screen. You can see one of those. I'll put more stripes and stuff in them. This case, when I painted this one a couple of years ago, the first time around, I didn't get into that. I was a little bit in a hurry. I wanted to do this fast. But I'll tell you what, the lure I ended up with was pretty successful. A lot of people caught some good fish with it. Matter of fact, one of Bob's biggest bass he caught a couple of years ago was with this pattern. So we're going to start out on the belly. We always start in the belly, work our way up. Createx transparent bright yellow. We're just going to shoot that right down the belly. That's all there is to that. And we got that done. Now let me clean this up just real quick here. It won't take too much to get that out of there. And let's bring back some Createx transparent orange. Take some orange here, put a little of that in the gun. Alright, we got our belly. We're just going to come right up in the front end, put a little orange, spray more on the painted bill than you actually do the lure. And that's all I want. Got a little orange right in front of that. That's all I want. Alright, now we're going to make a total change in paints and everything. So let me take a minute. I'll get this all cleaned up. I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, for our next step, we're going to move totally away from what we've been doing. We're going to move over to Walmart. Walmart Apple brand. 50 cents a bottle. So it's not a bad price, but I'll tell you what, this is not really designed to go through these machines. This is a craft paint. The flakes in the pigment colors are a lot bigger, and sometimes you can have some problems getting things plugged up in here. Secondly, this stuff is really thick, so it's going to need to be thinned. Boy, it's been a while since I opened this one up. Let me clean the face up a little bit here first. Alright, shake that up again once. So we're going to put a little bit in the cup. By the way, if you want, this is English Ivy Green is the color. English Ivy Green. Now, there's all kinds of thinners, and I suggest those are good. I use water. I am the person that's the best at do as I say, not as I do. So the thinners are probably better than the water, but I really haven't had any trouble with the water. There's that old thing, what consistency do you want? And I've heard some people say milk, and I've always thought, is milk really thicker than water? I don't know. But you don't want to get it too thin. Otherwise it starts splashing around on you. And too thick, and it wants to get that piece off my arm there. Too thick, you won't want to shoot right. So let's see if we got it the right thickness. Alright, we got some coming out. Now we're just going to come down the back. We'll let it blend down with the yellow on the side. Be sure you get up in that nose good. And there we go. That's all it takes. Got my orange, my yellow, and my green. Now, we want to fancy that green up a little bit. So, let me clean my mess up, because I got it covered and everything else. I'm not too good at stirring paint, guys. Let me clean everything up, and I'll show you how we're going to fancy that up just a little bit. Alright, all cleaned up. I'll tell you what, when I'm stirring paint, I get a little messy. You guys are probably lucky to get any on you. Now, we need to fancy that up a little. Here's the way I've done this. Createx Pearl Copper, a pearlized paint, pearl copper. I'm going to go over this a little, but we got to be a little careful. We're not going to get too much, so we're going to stay a little bit away. And you might not barely be able to see what's going on there. But I guarantee that copper does come through. You'll be able to see that when you get it all done later, you'll be able to see the copper coming through a little on the green. Now hang on just one second. We did that real quick. We're going to come back. Createx Pearlized Magenta. Pearl Magenta. Another of those colors I like. This one you really got to be careful here. Don't get too carried away here. Alright, we're going to stop right there with that. Now, one more thing. Almost done. Real quick, get that out. And I bought a little Createx Opaque Black. Alright, going to take that. Going to go right down the middle of the back. Got a little more over here yet. And that's it. Alright. Now, we need to get a set of eyes and top coat. We'll work on that, and then we'll see what we end up with. Alright, let's see about putting some eyes in. Now, so I said before, eyes are sticky on here, but I like to use a little tacky glue just to kind of help a little bit. I don't do anything real fancy with this stuff. It's just a little glue on the end of a toothpick. I don't have any fancy eye placement tool, just a toothpick. And that'll usually get the job done. Gonna go with red eyes here on this one. I think they'll stand out pretty good. But, you know, nothing's locked in. I just kind of like the red eye color. Alright, there we go. Now, I like to let these eyes sit for at least a half hour before I put on the top coat. Otherwise, they might start sliding down the body a ways. Alright, we are ready for the two-piece top coat. And this time of year, everything's a little colder. You know, I kind of warmed this stuff up. I've got it sitting here. That is actually some hot water. I'll put them in there, warm it up. I'm using the Bob Smith Industries 30-minute slow cure. You get that at Hobby Lobby. And I know a lot of people, I've said this before, a lot of people are really picky about getting an exact 50-50. And I don't, as you see. I just put some out, what it looks to me to be right. Again, as I've always said, do as I say, not as I do, and you should probably measure it exact, but I don't. Get it mixed up really good. That should do it. For a brush, cheap Walmart. They're like $1.50 or $2 for like 30 or 40 brushes. And it will, don't worry about brush strokes, because it'll all come out. We're going to hang this up and it'll even itself out as it's drying. So that way the brush strokes, you won't see any of that. Main thing is get a nice even coat everywhere. Get all the spots covered. If you're only doing one, you got plenty of time, though I wouldn't say you have 30 minutes. Usually, if I'm doing multiple lures, I like to just maybe do 2 of them. Summertime, maybe I'll try to do 3 of them. And beyond that, it's going to start hardening up on you too fast, and you're not going to get the job done. I tried once to do more. I ended up with a fishing lure with a paintbrush stuck to the bottom of it. I threw that one in the trash, by the way. Live and learn. Alright, and that should have me covered. Going to give it one good look over, just to make sure it didn't miss any spots. It's looking okay. Alright, now that's about right there. Alright. Now, I don't have a turner, so I'm going to hang mine. But what I'm going to use is a wire. I hang it here. Make sure you can see this in the camera. And now, everything that runs down will rub onto this wire, make it a little easier to get off later. Alright, we'll hang it up. When it's all dry and everything, we'll show you what it looks like. Well, there you go, guys. There is my simple bluegill pattern. Doesn't take a lot, and it does catch fish. Hey, thanks for sticking with me. Subscribe to the channel if you would. Hope to see you again real soon.